Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. Before I start, I think this is going to be another longer than usual video. I said I wanted to tell you guys my thoughts and concerns on the Advanced Warfare multiplayer, and before I just uploaded a video within hours of it being shown, I wanted to really study some of the gameplays which I've watched and really think about what I wanted to say in regards to the perks, the exo abilities, streaks and attachments. Now, I haven't watched any other Advanced Warfare breakdown video yet. I wanted to get my thoughts and opinions out of the way first, and then I will watch other people's videos to see if we came up with the same conclusions. I was tweeting as the reveal was being shown, so if you follow me on Twitter you have seen a few of my concerns. And quickly before I get right into it, I'm pretty sure that what we have seen is not the full unlocked version of the gameplay. I say that because I saw a streak which was being used in the multiplayer reveal called the missile strike, which was not listed when the score streak selection screen was shown. Additionally, the perk Hardwired says immune from system hack, which isn't listed anywhere, which could be the equivalent of a VSAT, and something called a nano swarm, which could be like an EMP, which I would assume would disable the usage of your exosuit and its abilities, as well as not being able to hold in score streaks and see your HUD. Again, I could be wrong here, but these are just my assumptions. And lastly, I think a good number of perks seem to be missing, which I will start right off with. Dead silence, dead silence, dead silence. This was the first thing I noticed that was missing from the perk selection. Now, sound is very important in Call of Duty. With me being a Turtle Beach headset user, the sound perks are something I always look out for. Black Ops 2 had dead silence and awareness, but both were useless. You had minimal sound in footsteps anyway, and awareness barely enhanced them. The only difference I could see was that awareness differentiated the surface sounds the player was running or walking on. These two perks were outclassed by dexterity, tactical mask and engineer, so I don't have the sound perks equipped on any soldiers because they are that insignificant. Fast forward a year later to the Ghost though, and sound is very important. I'm sure I'm not the only one who runs dead silence on every class along with amplify. Dead silence is critical for movement. People aren't going to go sprinting around if they fear that they're getting soundboard, or it may cause people to wait in corners just waiting to hear some footsteps. From the gameplay I've seen, the footsteps sound the loudest they have ever been. So how is Search and Destroy going to play? S&D is a popular game type for MLG, so I'm sure as soon as these guys ask for the perk, it will be put in the game, and for once, I'm actually agreeing with these guys. However, I don't think there should be a perk which amplifies footsteps even more. Just add dead silence. It's a perk which I feel shouldn't be counted, and it's a perk which only affects you if you are sound whoring. If I'm not playing with a headset and I get killed by someone using dead silence, it makes no difference to me if they had that perk on or not. Remember that the majority of the players are just casual, so a lot of people may not even have headsets or even care for sound perks. This perk is critical for the MLG guys, or guys who really want to do well in the game like myself. Other missing perks are Marathon or Extreme Conditioning, which has been in every Call of Duty since COD 4. Now, I'm hoping they go with the Titanfall concept here and have this built into your characters, as again it promotes movement, or maybe there is no use for it now as we've got the exo boosts and dash, which gets you around the map quicker. Either way, any one of those two choices would be fine by me. Sleight of hand doesn't seem to be in the game either, but it seems the reload speed is quite quick anyway, and there is a dual mag in the attachment section which helps for a quick reload every other reload, so exactly the same as Black Ops 2 here. Another perk which has been in every Call of Duty since COD 4 is sit rep. Even though it's been called a few different things from bomb squad to hacker to engineer and back to sit rep, but it seems missing in Advanced Warfare, which you would think is a good thing, right? Because without sit rep it means we don't have to worry about claymores or betties or shock charges. Yeah? Well, I'm not so sure on that. In the Exo Launcher selection, which you may or may have not noticed, now contains both lethals and tacticals, so you can't have both unless you equip a wildcard. So stun and smoke grenades are now in the same category as your Semtexes and your frag grenades, which isn't necessarily bad or a good thing really, but in the Exo Launcher you have something called a tracker drone, which is a piece of equipment that tracks and highlights enemies, along with an explosive drone, which is a proximity triggered drone that tracks enemies and explodes when near them. So with those two items in the game, you would hope that sitrep would let you spot these two pieces of equipment, so you know to avoid the areas where these are placed. So maybe we will see sitrep added into the game. But lastly, about missing perks, I didn't see tactical mask listed anywhere. Generally this is quite an important perk, but the only tactical I can see which would need to be countered is the stun grenade. So maybe Sledgehammer don't think that stuns will be too much of a problem and it's not worthy of a perk. I don't know. It would be nice to have it as an option though, as I'm going to assume that as the creator class system is modelled after Black Ops 2 where everything is of equal value, that stun grenade will be powerful as it was in Black Ops 2 where it just seems to last forever. Now, onto the perks that actually are in the game. Tier 1 has lightweight, low profile, which is basically Ghost. danger close, overcharge, which extends your exo ability, and flat jacket. Now, I think it will be lightweight and low profile, which will be the most used perks in this tier, and this is because of how scavenger works in this game. Now, before you think I'm insane and wonder how scavenger could possibly link to this, let me explain. The description for scavenger shows it refills ammo only, much like Call of Duty Ghosts. Scavenger in Black Ops 2 replenished everything, your ammo, lethals and tacticals, which would lead to C4 spam, and you know, I'm more than guilty of that, along with spamming of EMPs, concussions and flashes. A lot of people didn't use lethals and tacticals because it was simply a waste of a point, which is only used for one use. When you throw your lethal and tactical, it's gone. Those 2 vital points you have just used could get you the focus perk, which helps you in every gunfight. Everything is the same value in this game. I honestly can't see the community running danger close and let's say Semtex, because once you've thrown that Semtex, you can't replenish that, and the danger close perk is now irrelevant for your character. That's 2 points from your system, which is irrelevant from just one throw. Instead, you could use a perk like toughness or lightweight, which helps you at all times, or use attachments on your gun, which again helps you at all times. Danger close shouldn't have been in the game anyway. It's a troll class which is just used to piss people off. Obviously, one-man army in Modern Warfare 2 and riot shield C4 guys in Call of Duty Ghosts. I know you can equip a grenade launcher, which you may think could be a problem, but I don't think the developers will make danger close as powerful as Modern Warfare 2, where in that game there was no counter to it. Even in Ghosts, I tried the launcher out with danger close to see how powerful it was, and I was getting hit markers on guys who were not even wearing blast shield. It was only powerful with the C4 in Ghosts, so I would hope it works the same way here, and obviously we have flat jacket for that added protection if needed. The way scavenger works also kind of affects flat jacket. Now, not nearly as much as how danger close is affected. People may still run grenades and Semtex in your objective game modes, but overall, flat jacket would not be as nearly as a necessity as it was in Black Ops 2. Again, look at Ghosts. You honestly did not need to run with blast shield. As mentioned, unreplenishable grenades take up a point now. Will most people waste a point on that? I highly doubt it. It was a great perk in Black Ops 2, especially against C4 tryhards like myself, but here in Advanced Warfare, I don't think it's going to be required as much. Now, overcharge is an interesting one, which could be useful depending if they change the game or not. Now, I noticed that once the exo ability has been used, I never saw it recharge. I saw raw gameplay of Advanced Warfare multiplayer and a guy was alive for at least a minute after he used the ability and it didn't recharge in the slightest. So, having Overcharger, which extends the exo ability, could be a waste of a perk. Again, it's a once per life perk which I feel wouldn't compete with Lightweight and Ghost, but if they change the game to where your exo ability does recharge, this would be a much more beneficial perk and would definitely be competitive. The second perk tier consists of peripherals, which is basically a mix of takedown and something new which lets you see increased minimap coverage. Then you have Blind Eye, Cold Blooded, Fast Hands, and another new perk called Gung Ho, which lets you fire while sprinting and sliding. To be honest, I don't think that any of these perks are that much of a necessity. Possibly Cold Blooded because it makes you immune to things like Thermal, the Target Enhancer, which looks like it's the Advanced Warfare version of the Target Finder, along with threat grenades, enemy callouts, and you have no name displayed above your character. So it does quite a lot, but we won't know if it's a necessity until we see how the general public play the game. Lastly, the third tier unfortunately contains Toughness, which will be the necessary perk to run. I wish this was automatically built into your character, but it looks like we're still going to need to equip this, which is a shame. I still feel that perks that directly affect gun battle should not be in the game or just built into your character. Next is Scavenger, which as I said before doesn't replenish anything but your ammo, and it gives you extra starting ammo as well, so it's basically a Scavenger Pro from Modern Warfare 3. Next is a new perk which is called Blast Suppressor, which again I feel may be irrelevant. It keeps you off the map if you're using an exo ability. As I said before, exo ability only seems it can be used once, so this is another once a life perk which I feel may become obsolete. Hardwired is next, which I mentioned right at the start. It could be more useful than its Black Ops 2 equivalent, but certainly not a necessity. And lastly, Hardline. Now Hardline is generally a decent perk, but it doesn't compare with Toughness, but you could see a greed wildcard being used for both perks here. Now, a lot of people are worried about the exosuits, like the cloaking, the overclock, which is increased foot speed if combined with lightweight, which, you know, was my first worry. Imagine all the dashing, the boosting, and having lightweight and overclock equipped. I mean, it would mindfuck the hit detection and possibly make your character untouchable, especially if dedicated servers are non-existent. Then you had the exo stim, which is increased health, so maybe like Juggernaut, the hover, the shield, and the trophy system. But as I mentioned, these are not going to be too much of a problem because they only seem to last once per life. Imagine having increased health every 30 seconds by activating a stim or consistently being cloaked. Yeah, that would be pretty infuriating, but as it's only once per life, I feel these suits are mostly balanced, but if these change to be rechargeable, it could cause a few problems. Besides, with these exos only being used once per life, we may not see too many people running the exo abilities and just equip that extra attachment or perk. I don't see the point of mentioning score streaks, as I'm 100% convinced that we've only been shown a handful. On the score streak selection, only 7 streaks were listed: the UAV, the care package, turret, Vulcan, Warbird, Goliath and Paladin. And as I mentioned on the trader and the Hardwired perk, there is evidence of a missile strike, a nano swarm and a system hack, which all could be score streaks. Also, I don't think a game which is apparently so advanced would have a limited number of streaks. It'll be interesting to find out the score streak upgrades though, especially UAV. Maybe that will turn into a real-time UAV of somewhat, or something like a VSAT. That's if the system hack, which we don't know what it is yet, isn't a VSAT equivalent itself. But the wildcards are being exactly copied from Black Ops 2. But this game has been in development for 3 years, right? No. They saw what Treyarch did nearly 2 years ago with the wildcards and obviously thought it was a great idea, so they've directly copied it. Again, like Black Ops 2, I can't see overkill or secondary gunfighter being used. Maybe not Tactician or Bombardier, which either lets you have 2 exo abilities or 2 lethals or 2 tactical grenades. I say that because you'd have to use 3 points to make use of equipment which isn't replenishable, and after you've used these items, it's gone, so a possible waste of 3 points. The only addition that Sledgehammer have done to the wildcards is the extra score streak. Now, I honestly think this could be used just by YouTube pub stompers for those high scoring gameplays, or it could be good for low streak spamming and recycling, but I really don't know how this will go. It all depends how good and effective the streaks are, which will determine how frequent we will see this. For example, this would be very good in Black Ops 2. Imagine a VSAT, Lodestar, Dogs and Swarm combination, but look at it in Ghosts, it would be useless. Riley, the Trinity Rocket, Battle Hind and an Assault Juggernaut. Yeah, it wouldn't be worth it in Call of Duty Ghosts, but God, this is one long video and I must not think about rendering this through the night. But lastly, onto the weapon attachments. Now, I'm skipping the weapons because there were only a few guns in each category. Again, another reason why I don't think we've been shown the full game. But attachments, most of these again are just copied from Black Ops 2 with a rename. Lightweight grip is quick draw, laser sight which is steady aim, lightweight stock for stalker or adjustable stock, but along with the usual red dot, ACOG, suppressor, thermal and other attachments we've seen before, Sledgehammer have added some new attachments. One being a tracker, which is Recon Pro for Modern Warfare 3. Using this attachment paints a target on your minimap. This could be very useful. It could be a very useful attachment, so you know whether the enemy's just running away or they've turned the corner and are waiting for you. Another new attachment is called the Target Enhancer. So this is the Sledgehammer equivalent of the tracker sight or the target finder. Its description says it's advanced optics with a built-in threat detection. A threat detection. I'm hoping that it is not something like a heartbeat sensor. If so, this will be the camper's attachment of choice and could actually force Cold-Blooded to be a necessary perk thinking about it. But lastly, a new attachment added is called Parabolic Microphone, which allows suppressed weapon fire to appear on your mini-map. Basically, the sound of this attachment renders suppressed weapons useless. Now, I know we want a fast-moving game, but it will be frustrating for someone using a suppressor who thinks they are flanking the enemy, only for them to know there is someone behind them the entire time. I am hoping that this attachment is only effective within a certain radius, otherwise it could be slightly overpowered. It completely negates someone using a suppressed weapon, but in my opinion I don't see how this could be an attachment anyway. Surely this would be more suitable as a perk. How does having an attachment on your gun allow you to see suppressed fire on a minimap? It doesn't make sense, but I hope it's completely balanced and really doesn't make silence completely irrelevant. But with that, I've gone through everything that I wanted to, or mostly wanted to. I hope I've given you an insight to what I feel will be the most used perks and attachments, and I'm intrigued to see if I'll be in the right or wrong or somewhere in the middle. But I will link all the perks, wildcards, abilities and everything else I've talked about in the description below, so you can go and check them out and see every single attachment score streak and a few other things that maybe I didn't cover. But that's the end of the video guys, take care and I'll talk to you soon.